Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Sports Card Lessons podcast with me, your host, Ken. I'm a retired teacher documenting my hobby journey here on the pod, finding teachable moments to share with all of you along the way. Don't forget to hit me up on social media on Instagram at sportscard_lessons. Hit the follow button. And you can also find me on YouTube by searching Sports Card Lessons. If you like what you hear, please like, subscribe, and most importantly, tell a friend and spread the word. Welcome, everybody. I'm really excited for today's guest. I feel he's one of the OGs of the hobby. And every time we talk, he has such a wealth of knowledge. I feel like a student learning so much from him about the hobby. You know him on Instagram at behind_the_diamond. Welcome, John. John, how you doing today?
What's up, Ken? What's up? How you doing, guys? Thanks
So,
for having me on today.
so happy to have you on here. You know, last time we were together was at National and we were talking and all the conversation we're having, everything you were saying, what did I say to you? I said, I really need to have you on as a guest because every time I talk to you, I'm just learning something. You're just such a wealth of knowledge. I mean, how long have you been in the hobby?
Well, I've been collecting since I opened up my first pack when I was 6 years old. Uh, but I've been dealing. I set up at my first card show in 1998, so it's been
Wow.
25 years.
Yeah.
And that
Yeah.
was a Wednesday night show. Actually, I was going to work and in Long Island. I worked for Grumman at the time, and I was driving up the road and I saw like a big sign that says sports card show every Wednesday from 4 o'clock to 9 o'clock. And I'm like, oh man, all right. It's only 5 minutes away from my job. I get out of work at 3 o'clock.
Mhm.
Maybe I can do this on Wednesday, and stuff. So I asked the guy, I called up Frank. He was actually the promoter of the show back then. And he said, yeah, come on down. It's like a 25 table show. And back then it was only $20 for the table. And he gave me an 8-foot table. And I did that show religiously for probably 7 years straight. And then he switched it over to a Saturday show. And it was every Wednesday too. It wasn't only once a month. It was every Wednesday.
Every Wednesday. Now, when you started to set up, this was stuff that you had been collecting all through your childhood and stuff, and then this is what you put on your table, or did you go out and say, I need to get inventory to sell at the show?
Put I put a couple of pieces of memorabilia on my table. I had before I set up at the show, I'm kind of anal, so I kind of had to have I needed a showcase. So I bought before I called him up. I bought like a showcase, and it was like a wooden one, and it was like one of the one of the ones, actually the ones that you have in the back there. It was like a wooden one
Yeah.
back with like dividers in between and stuff like that, and so that was the first showcase that I ever bought for myself. I think it was like $75, and I bought it. So I only had one showcase, one box of like 25-cent cards, and a couple of pieces of memorabilia that I've been collecting and stuff. So I just tried it out, put it on the table. Most of my stuff was Yankee stuff, and a couple of Knicks. And and I kind of, I followed the sports, so I kind of knew what people may want, but it was a lot easier back then. Back then it was a lot easier. So people used to love to go through. I mean, they still do, but go through dollar boxes. So it was only $20 for the table. I
Yeah.
think that first show I made like $250, and I was like,
Wow.
oh my god, you know, it was awesome. You know what I mean? And I'm like, oh, I'll be back next time. And then actually there was this one guy, older guy, came to the show every Wednesday. He was a psychiatrist. I became really good friends with this guy. He had a lot of money. He ended up buying from me every week religiously. If it was $80, $100. So thanks to him, like I kept doing it, every week just to hang out with him. We ordered pizza. It was just a cool, close knit group of guys that I actually still know today.
Yeah.
A lot of them set up at the National.
Yeah.
I put a couple of cards in one of the guys' showcases at the National this year that I used to set up with and stuff. So a couple of them passed away, but a couple of them are still around and still doing
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
today. So it was a really cool, experience. And, I just loved it.
Yeah.
Every Wednesday was just like my time. You know what I mean? Went to
So
work.
so has it been a constant? Like, have you been since then? Have you just been doing shows since? Or did you take time off, or did you just keep
I just
straight
did.
on through?
I've been doing show. I mean, I was raising three kids at the time and stuff. But like, I did do shows religiously, like
Yeah.
whenever. I mean, I missed a few here and there, but
Yeah.
I missed a Hofstra show. But the Hofstra show wasn't a Hofstra show back then. It was at the farming. It was in Farmingdale. So it
Mhm.
was like a couple of different, switches along the way. But
Yeah.
JP Sports that runs the Hofstra and the Rockland, the one, the East Coast National and stuff. Um, he actually started. He bought shows off of somebody, and then he started running them, and I just
Mm.
did the Plainview show, did the Long Island shows, and
Yeah.
then I did a couple of Jersey shows here and there.
Mm.
So
Mhm.
it was just it was fun because we not mainly because I was making money. It wasn't even about that. It
Yeah.
was talking about sports. And I
Yeah.
love talking about sports. I love arguing about sports. I love, figuring out like what players are hot, what players are not, who are the
Yeah.
goats, who aren't the goats,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
So it wasn't so much the hobby, but the hobby community too, really is what kept you going.
Oh, the hobby, it was just Ken, I couldn't explain how awesome it was every Wednesday because stuff came out every Wednesday, wax.
Yeah.
So the dealer there that had the wax actually Seymour, he actually has a store out here. He doesn't do the national anymore, but he did the national for about 40 years. And he used to have a whole bunch of boxes, and the boxes were affordable back then.
Yeah.
And we used to just break all the new products that came out. And
Mm.
we used to just it was almost like a club, like just sitting there and just hanging out. And we didn't even care at that point if there was 10 people that walked through the door or 20 or 50.
Mm.
you know each year it got less and less. It went from like 100 people walking in on every Wednesday. Then it went from like 70, then 50. Then I saw some declining numbers, but I still never gave up. I still
Yeah.
did them. I still did every show,
Mm.
even if we had only 10 people walking in that room.
So when you would show up on a Wednesday and you would get these boxes of wax, were these cards you were just ripping and then putting right in your case, or were you keeping them
Rip
for
it.
your PC or a little both?
No,
Mm.
I wasn't. There was no PC except for Don Mattingly. Don Mattingly is my PC, and actually John Stockton is my PC too. I love John Stockton.
Yeah.
So it's John Stockton, Don Mattingly, Patrick Ewing. But like I when I opened up these cards, no, they went right in the top loader, right in my case.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
actually, if I spent $40 on a box, sometimes I took a hit and I just sold the whole box for $20 just to open up another box. You know what I mean? Just to keep going and going.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was just an awesome experience, and I'm actually thankful for he's not around anymore, but Frank was a really good promoter.
Yeah.
And you know and that's the Hicksville show. So actually, I know we're going off topic, but I took over the Hicksville show.
Mhm.
So that was the show that I first started selling at.
Yeah.
Passed away, and then I took it over.
How long have you been doing the Hicksville show?
2015.
Yeah.
I took a year off in 2018, because it actually, it wasn't doing that great.
Yeah.
30 people walking in, and it was more of a just hanging out. And at that point, dealers wanted to make money. It wasn't like,
Yeah.
but it was, then it before the pandemic, it actually took off.
Mhm.
It was taken off before the pandemic, and then the pandemic happened, and then it just started, even getting better.
Yeah. Yeah. It seems like all the shows in that area, Long Island, New York, New Jersey, it seems like all those shows are just so much traffic that come in.
Oh yeah, and everybody knows each other too, which is great. I'm sure that's the same for Jersey and Connecticut.
Yeah.
Everybody knows each other, and
Mhm.
even if you don't make a sale, like I never worried about making sales. It wasn't about.
Mhm.
To be honest with you, I mean, everybody wants to make money. We all want to make money selling cards. We do.
Yep.
I'm not gonna sit here and say we don't, but it wasn't about in the beginning for me, I was young. It wasn't about making money. It was just about talking sports.
Yeah.
It was just the best time talking about who won the game last night, or you know, the LeBron James coming up. I remember everybody discussing LeBron James in
Mhm.
2003. About that. It was just an awesome group of guys, and
Mhm.
I'm actually thankful, to be in that era,
Yeah.
before the madness of now.
Yep. Yep. And I know what you mean by it's nice to make money, but I think the shows are so much nicer if you go to a show and it doesn't matter if you like I always say on the pod, I said I can go to a show and not sell one card and I'll be fine. I'll go home and think about why I didn't sell one card, but it's not upsetting to me. And to me, that changes the whole outlook to me in the hobby. Like I go there because I like to see all the same people. I'm meeting the same people, the dealers and the customers are coming. I'm looking forward to seeing these people over and above, any sales I could have.
Yeah, the best times are just like, because, even having people in my square, because I own the whole square at Hofstra, right? And I just love the group of guys that I have in my square, you
Yeah.
know, sit there, have lunch, talk sports, walk back and forth. And, if it's a little bit of a slow time, come over and look to see what you're selling, or
Yep.
what Rob is selling, or what Austin is selling, and
Yep.
Eddie, and stuff. And even this, I call him Little John, but he's taller than me now. But, this kid was, he was 7 years old, and now he's setting up at shows
Yep.
with me in my square at Hofstra. It's an awesome experience overall, and it's just that's why I love it.
Yeah.
Big sport.
And it's one thing I'll point out. I see your wife all the time. She was there at the Hofstra show. She was there at National and really involved. That's awesome. I mean, just
Well, she's she's the brains behind the madness. You know what I mean?
isn't
So
that always the truth, right?
she's phenomenal. She does all the editing, the camera work,
Yeah.
all the paperwork,
Yeah.
all stuff that I don't have the attention span to do, to be honest with you, because
Yeah.
sometimes I'm all over the place.
Yeah.
But like, she remembers everybody's names. She remembers who's who. Sometimes it gets confusing when you a promoter of a show, and a dealer.
Oh,
Sorry about that.
that's okay.
So it's no, she's really the backbone of behind the diamond.
Yeah.
You know, I
Yeah.
have the knowledge of the sports stars and
Yeah.
cards to buy, but she's really the
Yeah.
backbone of it.
But what a great partnership, right? If you can concentrate and do what you know what to do, and she can concentrate and do what she. I mean, what a great partnership there.
Oh yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. It frees you up to go out and get the cards you need and not worry about all the other stuff. Yeah.
Oh no, yeah, definitely. I mean, she can handle the table. She can, and I don't have all my cards priced too. Like that's another thing. I don't have them all priced. Certain boxes I have priced. Everything's off the top of my head, which
Yeah.
is crazy. So sometimes that works to my benefit, and sometimes it doesn't. But like, I know, I mean, I used to know the Beckett price guide inside and out. What prices used to go for, what cards used to go for, and all that.
Yeah.
So like, I don't price my cards, but she actually knows. She knows.
Mm.
She definitely knows what she's doing.
Yeah.
And she's definitely the backbone of behind the diamond.
A lot of people I spoke to that's been in the hobby for years would talk about never pricing their stuff because they knew exactly what the price was of everything. And they start saying today, and I always say it could be age, but they say to me that there's so many variations of so many different cards out there that it's so hard. Like sometimes it used to be like you had one LeBron James, right? And one Michael Jordan, but now there's, so many different cards that you have to remember all the different, like it becomes harder because there's so many different versions of the same player.
Yeah, no, it is a little harder with the new stuff. It is, but like what I mainly do, what I mainly deal with and collect and sell is
Yeah.
Hall of Famers. Hall of Famers and stars.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cut and dry.
Yeah.
So once you know how much a Frank Thomas number 2 or like a Joe Montana number to 150, you're gonna know what a Joe Montana out of number to 50 would be. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
it's a little bit easier to know what
Mhm.
these how much these autographs are. But I can see what you're saying about the whole bunch of different variations and stuff. It
Yeah,
is tough. It is
yeah,
tough. But that's the stuff that I actually price.
yeah.
So
And I
yeah,
know because I remember at Hofstra just seeing you how many cases did you have set up there? Probably
I
15
had
cases, maybe?
12. I had 12 cases set
12
up.
cases. Yeah. And they were full of car. Every case was full. So,
Full,
I mean,
I'm anal with my. I'm also anal with my appearance of my
yeah,
showcase.
yeah,
It really takes me about 4 to 5 hours to set up at a show like that.
yeah,
The East Coast National is going to take me 4 hours because I need to have everything in that right order. Like
yeah.
this needs to be the basketball case. If there's James Worthy cards, they all have to be together. You
Mm,
know, uh, if there's John Stockton cards, they all have to be together. Hall of Famers have to be with Hall of Famers. Stars have to be with stars. Non-sports cards have to be with non-sports cards. I'm
yeah.
just, I'm kind of, and again, like I don't have, there's 12 showcases full of cards, but they're not full of $10,000 cards.
Mm,
They're full of cards that are $30 to $1,000.
mhm.
And that's my bread and butter. I
Yep.
just love to have an abundance of cards
Mhm.
because it's more of like if I ever stop doing this, I have a collection that I enjoy.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's just talk about um your style, like your style at the show. So your cards mostly are 30 to $1,000 cards. Are they graded? Are they ungraded? What would you rather have in there?
I like like I said in my showcases, I put cards from 30 to 1,000. Star players that are hot, Hall of Famers, even if they're lower key Hall of Famers, I still put them in the showcase because you never know what people are looking for. So football, baseball, basketball, non-sports cards I love.
Mhm.
So you know that's my madness. So like I set up a nice case of Hall of Famers basketball. Then I keep going and I just keep, one case is probably a little bit better than the next. And then I just keep going and going. And then I start with the baseball and the football. I try to have it all organized for people. So when they come up to my table uh, looking for a Chipper Jones autograph, I know exactly where it would be,
Mhm.
it would be in the baseball section with the other 8 Chipper Jones autographs that I have.
Yep.
So like I like to have I try to get 10 of each Hall of Famer, which is crazy, but like I in my head I need to
Yep.
have 10 of each guy. And you know, it could be 10 Chipper Jones, 10
Mhm.
Frank Thomas, 10 Joe Montanas.
Yeah.
I'm just going off the,
But if
the
you have
but
10 of each, right, when somebody comes up to your case, they're not going to miss it. If there's 10 cards in a row, they're not going to miss it. Whereas if I just had one of somebody, they could maybe just walk right by or just never see that one. But if you have 10, the chances of them seeing that particular player are very
Oh,
high.
it's right there, right in
Yeah.
front. I overlap a little bit. I try to make it like the John Stockton section of the showcase that I have, or you know, uh, or even the Magic Johnson showcase or the Larry Bird or whatever,
Mhm.
But like, it's and the higher, I mean, like the Willie Mazes, the Will Chamberlains, guys like that. I obviously don't have 10 of, but like, Bird, Magic, Abdul Jabbar, it's just guys like that. I do have a lot of their autographs, and I
Mhm.
just keep buying them. I sell them and I buy them.
Yeah. And do you grade them? Do you grade cards?
No, no, well, I grade rookies. I grade cards that I'm. I have like a different madness to this. I don't grade every. And the only grading company that I grade with is PSA. I would grade with BGS too. Like those are the only two, but PSA is number one for me.
Yep.
Um, I don't send in. I like to send in rookies. I don't like to send in autograph, like, autograph Hall of Famers. It just doesn't make any sense for them to be slabbed. That's just my opinion. Because I think if it's for your personal collection, that's fine. But if
Yeah.
for like a selling, for a selling point, like it's a lot easier to sell a John Stockton regular flawless auto patch than a John Stockton graded flawless patch. Because even if it's a 9.5, or if you even a 9 or whatever it is, or a PSA 10, it's just because that collector is not going to want to pay the premium for that graded John Stockton. They rather spend a little bit less money and buy the raw John Stockton.
Yeah.
Know what I'm
If,
trying to
if
say?
if they're putting it in their PC.
If they're putting it in that PC, or even if they're trying to sell it or whatever.
Mm.
So like I don't like to grade Hall of Fame autographs. I only like to grade rookies, maybe Bowman Chrome rookie autos out of baseball. I like the XRCs. Those definitely need to be graded.
Yeah.
Select silver prisms. I don't even think like the regular select stuff. Silver prism, like stuff like that. Yeah, definitely great.
Yeah.
Great. And then I did. During the pandemic, I put in about 1,000 cards. I did, but
Wow.
before that, I wasn't much of a grader. I went against my religion on it during the pandemic, and I just sent everything in,
Yeah.
and it worked out to my benefit. But I don't think I'm going to send much in anymore, to be honest with you. It just doesn't. That's just not my thing.
Yeah.
And people don't come to me for graded stuff. Really, they come to me. They know me as Hall of Famer and star autographs and a whole bunch of boxes that people can look through and
Yep.
pick through and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I mean, I do buy graded stuff. I'm not going to say I do, but it's just sometimes
Yeah,
I turn a
it's
lot down.
interesting that, and I'm new. I mean, I've been doing it a year, but I'm new. I'm new to selling at shows. And it's interesting that people come up all the time, and if I have a raw card, they pick it up. Can I see it? And they look at it, and they're like, "Oh yeah, this will only get an 8, or it would be a stretch to get." Like immediately, they're visually grading these cards, and now they want to start negotiating a price based on what they visually see on the card. So I'm just wondering, do you get this a lot with your cars? Do
Oh
people
yeah,
pick it up and?
but I've been around. I've heard everything in the book. So if I'm not saying all the guests or customers come to your table are like that. They'll take a card and they'll be like, oh yeah, I'm looking to grade it. I'm like, okay, can I take a look? And I open up the showcase, I give them the card or whatever, and they'll look, they'll analyze it. Oh man, it's probably only going to get an 8. And now in my head, it's probably going to get a 9
Yeah.
because it's going to probably get a 9.
Yeah.
So then we start off with that. But you don't have to worry about selling. If it's a raw card, you're going to sell it for the raw price.
Yeah.
Even if it's a 7, in their eyes, an 8 or a 9. Know what
Yeah.
I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Like you're
And
not.
and I think kind of the raw price is like around an 8 or a 9 graded, right? I mean, that's what the raw price is anyways.
That's just what it is.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, no, I get a lot of that. But people know me. They don't come up to me that often and start, checking with that they don't do that often
Yeah.
with my
Yeah.
cards. I try to avoid that. That's why I have stuff in my showcase that they don't have to.
Yeah.
Because if they pick up that Larry Bird autograph, they're not going to check for condition.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
They
know,
expect
will.
it with the age to be a little dinged up, right?
Yeah, and if it's a thicker card, it's not going to be perfect.
Yeah.
They're looking for that autograph.
Yeah.
Mainly if the autograph is faded, if the autograph is light, if the autograph is nice and bold, they're going to buy that one. If it's a on card or if it's a sticker, I know a lot of people like on card autographs, but I sell just as much sticker autographs as on card
Yeah.
because a Larry Bird on card autograph is 400 and a sticker one is 150. So some people don't have $400 to spend and they want a Larry Bird autograph.
Yeah.
So that's just, and they want to spend the 150 on it.
Yeah.
So that, that's I try to cater to all all customers that have $5 in their pocket or that have $1,000 in their pocket.
Yeah.
You know, that's my range. I
Yeah.
do have a couple of PC cards that are over that, but
Mm.
other than that, that's mainly what I bring to shows.
Yeah. What's your most coveted PC card?
Well, I have a Mantle 53 PSA 6.
Nice. And how long have you owned that?
Uh, a long time.
Yeah.
Well, probably about 10 years.
Yeah. Yeah. Did it
Well,
come with a great story?
what?
Did it come with a great story?
Oh, a lot of this stuff comes with great stories. I have a couple of great stories, but I actually, really, if you want me to go on, I mean, I really quick, I bought this lot of, I know it's not Mantle's rookie, but I bought this lot of graded stuff back in 2012. Every rookie vintage, every rookie from the 51 Mays, I think it is, the Bowman or whatever it is. I forgot. So 51 to like 1980, a friend of mine had. And it was like, guys like Johnny Bench,
Yeah.
Robin Yount, Joe DiMaggio, the play ball, Stan Musial, Yogi Berra, Whitey Ford, the top tier Hall of Famers.
Yep.
Ricky Henderson. I think he ended with Ricky Henderson. And these were all like mid grade. There was the 48 Babe Ruth was in that. Leaf was in that lot too. So like I bought a bunch of stuff off this guy. Awesome cards. Awesome cards for $8,000. And the Mantle was in that. The 53 Mantle. That was the only card that wasn't a rookie, considered a rookie.
Yeah.
And the 53 Mantle was in that lot. And it was just awesome. I mean, there was a Johnny Bench PSA 8. I mean, that's big money now. I don't have it anymore, but that's big money now.
Yeah.
So I do have a couple of those cards left,
Yeah.
but I did sell the majority of it.
Yeah.
So, and I don't regret it, but it would be nice 10 years later to have them back.
Yeah.
I'll just sell some stuff, buy them gradually, and get whatever card I want back,
Mm. And do you ever walk around the show saying, and you see cars to say like, I would buy this just to keep for myself, or you're just strictly like, I would pick this up, I would buy these and just put them in my cases?
It's weird. It depends on how much money I have. And in my head, it's like I go to a show intending to buy to resell.
Yeah.
And my collecting gets in the way a little bit too. So like if I see an autographed baseball that I want, and I'm thinking to myself like, okay, that's $100, but that's now $100 that I'm taking away from what I have off to the side. I know it's only $100, but that $100 can go to something that I can make 120 bucks off on top of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it depends, like from show to show. I can't really answer that question because it depends on what kind of monies I have available at that show. I would buy a PC card if I have an abundance of money for that, during that show. So
Did you make any pickups at National
yes,
for yourself?
Yeah, well, I bought about 7 Don Mattingly autographs to add to my, I think I'm up to like 90, 95 Mattingly autographs.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, like just cards from the early 2000s and up, so stuff like that. I think I bought like 6 or 7. The first day wasn't good at the National for me. I was negative about it, to be honest with you. A lot of the dealers' prices were very high, but I get it. I'm a dealer too. I get it. They want their money. They're paying for the spot.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a good day on Wednesday, but then it got better. I ended up buying more and more stuff. Wednesday evening to Thursday, I bought the majority of my stuff, and then Friday I went back to a couple of dealers that were giving some great deals.
Yeah.
But the majority of that National, dealers were high, but rightfully so. I mean, they want they want what they want for their cards.
Yeah.
Can't blame
I,
them.
I felt at National, I priced my cards well. They were slightly over comps, willing to negotiate on that. And I had a lot of people come and, do just like really low ball offers on Wednesday, which a lot of it that I mean, I sold stuff on Wednesday. I don't think I sold a lot of stuff on Wednesday, but I think as Thursday and Friday went along, people started coming back because they remembered, and I could see them making notes like, what's this table number? What's this, taking a picture of the card, putting prices, and then coming back. And I remember a lot of people on Friday coming back and walking up and looking at the number and say, didn't you have this card? And I said, yeah, I sold that. And they're like, oh, okay. So they expected to come back and get that kind of, so yeah, I felt the same way. I mean, Wednesday we set up in the morning and then we had all day. It wasn't until 4 o'clock. So they had all day to walk around. And I felt the same way, that I expected on Wednesday to go buy a whole bunch of cards. And I think I only ended up buying one card on Wednesday. So yeah, I definitely felt the same way. But I think the prices got better as the days went on.
Yeah, no, definitely got better. But I don't like to buy, I can't just buy one card at somebody's table. I like to bulk deal.
Yeah.
I like to get more for my money.
Yeah.
Like I like to gather up 3, 4, 5 cards and get a better deal. So it was tough for me. Like I said, the first day was tough. I think I bought a Sandy Koufax auto. I got a really good price. I think it was $250. And then I bought, which was crazy. I bought because I love non-sports cards. I bought a Martin Short auto. Awesome. I love Martin Short. I love, but
Yeah.
I bought it. See, like, it's just, I bought it for $10 off of somebody. And I know it has to go more for that. I mean, it's Martin Short,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I actually sold it at the Plainview show this weekend for $40.
Yeah.
And then I didn't even look it up. I didn't even look it up. I'm just going by what I feel it should be worth.
Yep.
And, I made money on it, so I didn't really care. That's why I also give good deals too, because I bought it for 10. I moved it for 40. And then I was like, I was watching the Yankee game. I was sitting down and I'm like, damn, I was just thinking about the Martin Short autograph off the top of my head. I don't know why, but I was. And I'm like, damn, I didn't really want to sell that. I sold a lot of cards, but I didn't want to sell the Martin Short autograph, but I did it. And then I'm like, let me see how much it's worth. I'm looking. It goes for $80.
Yeah. So someone
And
got a good deal. Yeah.
bam, I said, so he got a deal off of me. I got a deal off of the other guy, and everybody made money.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like, and stuff like that. And then I'm like, God damn, maybe I should have kept it, but I could always buy another one,
I was listening to a podcast the other day, and the person on there said, and he was a dealer, said, if someone comes to my table and pays the price that I've got it labeled, either I made a mistake or they made a mistake. Right? Somebody made a mistake. If they paid sticker price, somebody made a mistake on it. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that reminded me just what you just said there. Yeah.
Oh,
So
definitely.
you got a good deal on it, but he got an even better deal on it, right?
Yeah, I mean, it was in a non-sports box, and I was just
Yeah.
looking through it, and it was Wednesday, so I was pretty happy with the 2 pickups because, to be honest, the 2 pickups that I got on Wednesday, the Martin Short and the Sandy Koufax, were the 2 best deals.
Yeah.
So I got the Koufax for $250 and the Martin Short for $10, and the Koufax sells for about $375, and the Martin Short sells for $80. I sold it for $40, but it sells for $80.
Yeah.
So it was a really good, it was a really, I guess it was a good first day. I only bought 2 cards, but it was a good first day.
Yeah.
Saw a lot of people that I know in the business and stuff. And Thursday got better. I mean, I ended up coming home with probably a 2-row box full of stuff.
Oh, nice.
Just different types of stuff that I like. A George Sisler cut autograph. Some baseball Hall of Famers, some football Hall of Famers, a couple of basketball. I didn't go crazy with basketball, but basketball too. And, a lot of $3 cards and, put in my boxes and so people can go through them.
Yeah. Is that where you get most of your product, is through shows?
No, I actually, through people call me tons of lots, almost every day for deals and, and stuff. I'm actually going to see a deal today. Out east, and he has like five 3-row boxes of like cards that are like $3 to $30. And I love that type of stuff. And
Yeah.
it's perfect timing because the East Coast National is next week.
Yep.
And to get to that stuff, the Hofstra show is around the corner too.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know, I can throw it in my storage and get to it. But, I
Mhm.
love that type of stuff because, that stuff you buy for a couple of bucks each.
Yep.
And you're not going to sell all of it, but you'll make your money back and
Yeah.
have inventory. And
I
that's
think
just,
if you have enough, I think if you have enough room at your tables, it really works well. And because I know when I started at the shows, I started with what I call the soup box. I had a big box and it was full of all different things. And although I made money out of it, I found that it blocked a lot of people from looking into my cases where my more expensive cards that I wanted to sell. But when I had two people or three people going through the boxes, so I always felt like if I had purchased two tables and put all the boxes on one table and then my
yeah.
cases on the other table, that it would work out. But I haven't gotten to that level yet. But I think at some point I will, because I do see those boxes. I mean, I watch at some of these shows, people just show up with their own chair and they put their chair down right in front of the box and they just start going.
So Ken, like if you can sell, I'm not telling you how to sell, but like you have boxes and you sell 100 $3 cards. I know that's $300, but you can buy a $300 card to put in your showcase. You
Yep.
know what I mean? And that $300 can turn into $350, right?
Yep.
Eventually. So like how I set up my, it's all about marketing because my background is I was a chef and I was in the food business for about 20 years, 25 years. So I ran convenience stores at Stony Brook University and stuff like that. So like it's all about marketing. And that's why I have, at Hofstra, you see I have like a
Yep.
U shape, right? So I have 6 showcases in front of me. Then I have 2 tables full of boxes. And then behind me, I have the other 6 showcases. But if I have like a showcase in a box, it's not going to work because just
Yeah.
like that, people are going to go through your boxes and people are just going to look over shoulders, and you're not going to sell anything out of your showcase.
Yeah.
And, and you also have to be organized with your boxes too, all baseball, all football, all basketball or whatever, 25-cent boxes, 50-cent boxes, and all like, whatever. But like, it's all about, to me, it's all about appearance and marketing when I do these big shows. The smaller shows, I don't put out that much. I just put out whatever I grab out of my storage for that day. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
And I just, hopefully I make table plus more and go about my day. I
Yeah.
usually make a lot more than that, but it's good,
Yeah. As long as you pay for your table, right?
As long as I pay for the table, it's a win situation.
Yep.
Especially if you're on YouTube and you're doing a couple, some content and you're making people happy and
Yeah.
and then a couple of people come up to you and say, "Oh, I watch your YouTube," and cool.
Yeah.
It's nice. It's a good feeling that people learn.
Yeah.
It's learning about.
Yeah, and
You
they
know,
like that. They like that a lot. I mean, it's just the content. Yeah, people like that, just like what we're doing here, right? Just putting that content out that, you know, just a
yeah,
couple guys talking about cards and shows and things like that, but people love this content. Yeah.
they love the content. They love everybody has their own niche, right? And they do their own thing, and they like my show content.
Yeah.
The seller's point of view and stuff like that. Everybody
Yeah.
has their own little thing.
Yep.
Uh, and also the 2 shows that I run. I run 2 shows. I run the Hicksville and the Babylon. Babylon's 95 tables and Hicksville is 50 tables. Both in Long Island. So
Okay.
I I do videos. Well, not me. My girl does the videos.
Yeah.
She
Yeah.
does editing. She does a lot of it. So like I
Yeah.
said, she's the backbone of Behind the Diamond.
Yeah. Yeah. So one thing you mentioned at the national to me, which I was surprised, and maybe you can explain a little more to that, is you said you don't do any trading.
No, I don't. I trade with kids that I'll give a deal to. Like if a kid comes up to me and they want to trade a $10 card, I give them a $20 card. like out of my boxes.
Yeah.
And it's like like a Patrick Mahomes jersey card. If somebody wants to trade me a Patrick Mahomes jersey card, and I'll give them $40 in value out of my boxes, so they win. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that's the only trading that I do. I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and lie. I mean, I've done trading, but like I just don't feel the need to trade. Like I just can't explain it. It's when you most of the time people come up to your table, they want to trade you cards that they can't move. That's just my opinion on that. So
Mm.
why am I going to take cards that you can't move? Unless it's New York base, right?
Yeah.
I guess maybe. So like I rather just buy it. If I have the money on me, I'll just buy the card. I don't like
Yeah.
to give up cards. I like to have more. Maybe because it's just a thing that I do. I like to have more inventory.
Yeah. Yeah.
Inventory is everything for me. I love boxes and boxes of stuff.
Mm.
I don't have to have the best cards, the best cards in the room, because that doesn't necessarily mean that you're the best dealer.
Yeah.
You know what I'm trying to say? Or the
Yep.
best or the dealer that makes the most money. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
So like if you have two showcases of $5,000 cards, to me that's I guess it's impressive, but I rather have an inventory. I
Yeah.
rather have $100,000 worth of inventory at a show and
Mm.
12 showcases. That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
12 showcases of $100 cards.
Mm.
That's just my opinion. I just can't. I just don't like to trade. I just don't like to do it. I don't have any other like opinion on it.
Yeah.
I'll trade with friends, to that's about it.
Yeah. I
Just
know
not
they make such a big deal. They make such a big deal about trade nights, at all these shows, 2-day shows in the national, the such a big deal about trade nights. I'm just curious if you even attended any of those or you just avoid them.
trade night at Hofstra.
Yeah. Yeah.
I ran the trade night at Hofstra because it's my hometown,
Yeah.
So, I did run that trade night, but ask me if I made any trades. I didn't make any trades.
Yeah.
So I do respect trade nights. I know a lot of the kids love to trade, and that's what I like. I mean, it's the hobby is growing, and
Yeah.
more kids that come to more kids that come to the shows, they'll come to the trade night, and if they move cards and they trade cards to get a better card, they're gonna then maybe one day those kids are gonna be dealers,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
this never going to
Mm.
fall. You know what I mean? And they
Yeah.
just keep going and going. So I do attend trade nights. I did not attend any trade nights at the national. I'll probably promote trade nights because I did run 2 trade nights in Hicksville. But again,
Mm.
all I did was buy at my
Yeah.
trade night. I don't like to give up cards to get cards.
Yeah.
I don't know. I may sound stupid, but I just don't. You know, why
Yeah.
should I trade a Mac Jones for a Trevor Lawrence? Like it, I don't know. It's just like I'll just buy it.
Yeah. Or
And
unless it's going into your PC or something. Yeah.
unless it's going into the PC, yeah,
Yeah.
you know, if somebody has a Don Mattingly card that I want and I don't have the cash on me to do it, maybe I'll try to give up something. But that's just not my style. I just
Yeah.
don't like.
It's interesting when at Hofstra at the last show, um,
Okay,
you had a lot of kids. What's that?
I'm sorry to interrupt. With the trading too, sometimes it just doesn't work out because the comps that people do see when they come up aren't the same comps that you're looking at. They always look at the higher comps,
Yeah.
not the average comps.
Yep.
So like if you know, and I don't want to sit there and start looking at the phone and be like, okay, but it went for 100 on this day, and then it went for 60 on this day, and then 80 on this day. They're gonna want $100
Yeah.
hard when you realistically should just should really want the average price.
Well,
So
actually, it's even more though, right? So people like I'm on Facebook and Instagram all the time, and people say, for sale $1,000, trade value 1,200. So immediately they want
yeah,
more money for to trade it than they do for a cash.
yeah, that just doesn't benefit me.
Yeah,
I buy it for 850.
yeah,
Know what I mean?
yeah,
Like if they
yeah,
want
yeah,
to, I'd rather just buy it for 850. Like
yep,
why am I going to give up $1,200 worth of stuff for that card when that's $1,000?
yep,
So it just never pans out.
yeah,
For the card.
yeah,
I never turn anybody down if they want to trade. They want to show me stuff. I don't turn people down, but I just say nicely, like I look at the cards and I'd be like, nah, there's nothing for me here. So
yep,
you know, but I do buy. So if
yeah,
it
yeah.
comes to the table, I do buy
Yeah.
if it's a good deal.
Yeah. And that's what National was. Everybody was, the first few days, everybody, I mean, even probably through Friday, everybody that came to the table, are you buying? Are you buying? I've never seen so many people selling cards on the other side of the table, than when I went to National. And if I had $500,000, I would have spent $500,000, right? Just
Oh,
because some of those cards were just unbelievable that were showing up at my table.
tell me about it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's unbelievable card. The National is great because you see cards that you normally don't see at smaller shows or even at the 2-day shows and stuff like that. So like National was fun. I mean, it's always good. I know Atlantic City had a couple of ups and downs, but it took me 2.5 hours to get there, 2 hours to get there. So it was great for me.
Yeah.
Um, buying was a little here and there, but I managed to end up still walking out with two rows of cards.
Nice. Yep.
It was a success.
Yeah. And I sold about every card I purchased probably within minutes of buying. I would sell the cards, and I just knew because you just hear what the people were asking for. They were coming up and asking for certain cards, and then when somebody said, "Are you buying?" Yeah, let me see what you have, and it was like Tua, Davis Mills, just certain people. I mean, Tua cards. I think I bought 12 or 15 Tua cards, and two of them I sold before the guy even left the table. That's how fast
Yeah,
people were buying those. Buying
he's
those.
right now, isn't he?
What's that?
Isn't Tua hot right now?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it was hot at National too, and
Yeah.
who knew, right? It's just
No, no, no. He's been heating up a little bit.
yeah.
I,
Well,
I mean,
since they
I,
traded
they were
Tyreek Hill there,
yeah.
they
That,
feel
that's why too. So
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, football. I can't wait for football. Unfortunately, I'm a Jet fan. But I can't wait for football. I can't wait for Yankee postseason ball, right?
yeah,
And basketball too.
yep,
So
yeah,
awesome. It's going to be an awesome next half of the year of shows too. So
yeah,
you'll see the October Hofstra show is much better than the April Hofstra show.
yeah.
It's going to
That,
be insane because it's what was
that
that?
was my first show. That was Hofstra was my first card show, and it was the last year. I was trying to remember. I couldn't remember if it was September or October. It was October.
No, did you? No, did you set? Didn't I set you up at the East Coast?
No, no. I set up at Hofstra in the spring with
Okay.
you, but my first card show that I ever went to was Hofstra, but it was in the fall.
Yes, 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 yes. No, and that was the best show. It was actually what was it 1 day, right?
Yeah.
Because
No, I think it was a 2-day,
it
but
was a
I was only there on Saturday. Yeah.
no, but then Sunday I think they called it off because we were having a hurricane here. I think
Yes. Yes. That was exactly it.
so.
Yep.
You came on the day where that show was probably the most attendance in all of. You couldn't even walk in that show.
Yeah. You couldn't even move in there.
You
Yeah.
couldn't even
Yeah.
move, and for Saturday usually that's Hofstra, but this was just over. It was insane. That was
Yeah.
probably the best Saturday show ever
Yeah.
at
Yeah.
Hofstra.
Yeah, yeah. We showed up. I was there with Rob, sports card therapist. We went down together, and we showed up an hour before it started, and the line was it was so long. just to get in, and it just worked out. We were at the end of the line, but the end of the line, they made that almost, they started moving people and said they're going to put you in a different door versus the door everybody was standing in, and they looked at us and they said no, come this way, and they ended up putting us at the front of the line. We were at the back of the line, we ended up at the front of the line. I don't know how that happened, but we were the first ones to get into that show, and within probably 20 minutes it just went from being like, oh, this is cool, like looking, and next thing you know, you were just wall to wall people in there. Yeah.
Best one-day show I've ever had.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be the 2-day, but the one, it didn't even matter that we didn't have the show. Everybody was upset.
Yeah.
Because
the hurricane never hit.
Have Sunday.
Yeah.
Because it was well worth that Saturday. It was just an awesome show. And Hofstra is just a great show, and I feel so comfortable there. I mean, that's my show. I just love it's my hometown.
Mm-hmm.
People know me. I just feel the most comfortable there.
Yep.
And it's always been a great show. And usually Saturday is usually better than a Sunday anyway, but it's just always been a great show. I love Hofstra. Easy, the ramp right down. It's just everything about it. 15 minutes, 20 minutes away from my house. It's just an awesome show, for me.
And there's no Friday, right? It's just Saturday, Sunday at the Hofstra.
Friday is setup time.
Just set up.
Yeah. And then you can get deals on Friday too.
Yeah.
So, but then the East Coast National is actually back with Friday. It used to be Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. The East Coast National. And then he stopped that and only made it Saturday and Sunday. And everybody was like, man, And then now he's back doing it Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, which is awesome.
What are the hours on Friday?
3 to 7.
3 to 7.
Yeah. You can get there at 7, 8 o'clock Friday morning to set up.
Yeah.
So I do recommend that, because after you set up, you could walk around and look for deals. You know what I mean?
That's exactly my plan. Just get there early on Friday, set up, and then just walk the floor Friday. Then, do set and then run. Because it's easier. I find it's so much easier to go walk around before the shows open up, and you can really talk to people, and you want to negotiate things like that. Once these shows get going, it's just, it's so hard to go try to, leave your table, like leave somebody, say, hey, watch my table for a few minutes, and try to go, make deals somewhere. It's just not fair to the person you're asking, to watch your table.
Yeah, no, Friday's the best, man. I mean, unfortunately, I probably won't be able to do that because it takes me 4 or 5 hours to set up. But I usually have that hour gap between 2 and 3, the last hour to walk around and stuff like that. But it's not hopefully, it's going to be a massive show.
Yeah.
Whoever's watching, I recommend going to that East Coast National. It's 3 days, and it's just going to be massive.
Yeah, August 26th, 27th, 28th at Rockland Community College Fieldhouse.
Yep, 500 tables. The setup is going to be like the Hofstra setup. They're going to be squares.
Yep.
So 4 booths in a square.
Yep.
I know TNT is running a trade night.
Mm-hmm.
Teddy, he's running a trade night for those like the trade nights. And
which night is trade night? Saturday night?
It's Saturday night, I believe. Yep.
Yeah.
And I just think it's going to be a massive show. Massive.
Yeah. How many tables are Hofstra?
Hofstra is, I think, 300.
300. And this is going to be 500 tables. Yeah.
This is going to be definitely bigger, 500. Yeah. And a lot of dealers that a lot of dealers that are going to go to this show, the East Coast, are dealers that normally don't set up at Hofstra. So, Hofstra is more of a local, like a glorified, one-day local show.
Yeah.
Most of the dealers at Hofstra are local guys. A few guys from Connecticut would come and maybe Jersey, but the East Coast National, you're going to get guys from all of East Coast. It's going to be an awesome show.
Nice.
I mean, I believe it is. So
Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to it. And I'm looking forward to setting up with you again over there.
yeah, no, me too. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
gonna mess with Rob a little bit this time around. See what, and see what he's buying maybe and stuff like that. I
Yeah.
know he's starting off the top. I know he's starting a John Stockton personal collection, huh?
Yeah, yeah, I saw that. It's funny when I heard you mention that. I'm like, oh, I just recently heard this too from him. Yeah,
You know, John Stockton's always. I mean, I love John Stockton. He's one of my favorite players. I think in my opinion, I think he's the second best point guard to ever play the game.
yeah,
That's my opinion. If not, if people don't agree with me, he's definitely top five.
mhm,
Um, he was just a pure point guard, and I was thankful to watch his whole career.
yeah,
So like it's just eh, Magic is obviously better than him, but again, Magic's a 6'10" point guard. John Stockton has records that are never going to be broken.
yeah,
The assist record and the steals record. Just think about that too as a point guard. You know, he played defense. He was just a phenomenal player. He made Karl Malone better, and you could say that Karl Malone made John Stockton better, but John Stockton was the one that passed him the ball, right? So
yeah,
like,
yeah,
so it's those are just two records that I really, even Chris Paul is a great point guard, right?
yeah,
And he's not even close to breaking that John Stockton assist record.
yeah, yeah,
Mike Jordan was a great defensive player, right? Steals wise, not even close to breaking John Stockton's steals record. So like, those two records, and also consecutive games played. I
yeah,
think
yeah,
16 seasons without missing a game.
mm,
So I know all about these players. So it's not only, like I said, it's not only about cards and making money. I know all about these players, and I
yeah,
take pride in
yeah,
watching the game and
yeah,
just loving these players and collecting them over the years and stuff. So
yeah. I say that's the easiest thing at the card show. Like if you're selling a card of a player that you watch play or or the sport, and it's so much easier when somebody comes up and asks about a card, you pick it up. Now you can have a conversation about the team or the player or
yeah.
some records or something, and it just becomes more personable, and then almost could turn into a friendship, right? I mean, the
Well, the
next thing you
couple of
know,
things
you're
happen.
following.
It turns into a friendship.
Yep.
You're right, but and you also, the majority of the time, you sell the card
Yeah. Yeah.
because it you know you it's worth it. Even if it's a $20 card, now you have a friendship, now you have a connection, and that person that spent $20 with you is going to come back at the next show and spend $40,
Yeah.
and then come back to the next show after that and spend $60.
Yeah.
So I've seen that plenty of times.
Mhm.
So yeah, you're exactly right, and I get excited over it. That's why I'm so excited right now, because it's just I love talking about the players, especially the Hall of Famers, and I even know the players even before my time, stats and what they did and their accomplishments.
Yeah.
And it's just a little bit of background that you
Mhm.
can just like sell the card a little bit more,
Yeah.
not care about comps at that point. Just
Did
sell the
did they
card.
did they ever use that word? Did they ever use that word back in your day? Did they
Never,
compare it?
never,
Never. No.
never. From 2000 and no, from 1998 to 2012, maybe 14, maybe 12. The word comps wasn't even in the at shows.
Yeah.
It was whatever the Beckett price guide, or what it's selling for, or the trend. Yeah, I mean, you looked on eBay, you did, but like it wasn't like people having their phones. And again, I mean, everybody's using their phone. I'm not saying that I don't use my phone and look up comps. I do. I do, because that's just a source of getting an average price.
Yeah.
But like it when you, like, we just go back to, like, if somebody we're talking about, I know James Worthy is on top of my mind. I don't know why, but James Worthy, I love James Worthy, and he's so underrated. But like, if somebody comes up to me and they want that James Worthy card, I get so happy, because it's like they're coming for a player that had stats better than most of these players that are playing today.
Mhm.
And and the people that come up, most of the customers that come up to me want Durant, want Westbrook, want Harden. And then you think about it and you're like, why?
Yeah.
Like James Worthy was just as good.
Yeah.
And then somebody comes up to me and they want a James Worthy card, and I have 10 of them or 15 of them. I
But,
sell them the
but
card
it
for.
gets you excited because they're thinking the same way you're thinking, right? About that card.
Yes, and I sell it to, after we talk for 10, 15 minutes, and that's when my girl kind of calms me down, and they're like, "Oh, John, you're distracted. There's 5 other people that want your attention over here." And I'm talking about James Worthy, and she calms me down, and it's just like at that point, sometimes I even give the card for free.
Yeah.
To be honest, I do.
Yeah.
I've done that before. Like, you know what, bro? Awesome conversation, take the card, you
Yeah.
know, come back, we'll talk more. And then
Yeah.
usually that person would come back and they'll buy something off of
Yeah.
me, or we'll
Yeah.
have another great conversation.
Yeah.
Or come back and they'll be like, oh, here's a John Stockton insert that we were talking about Stockton or Worthy or whatever.
Yeah.
Here's that. And then
Yeah.
and then we have a friendship. And then
Yeah.
friendships turn into deals.
Yeah. Yeah. Follow me on Instagram. I'll follow you back. Next thing you know, you're messaging each other over certain things. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude. It's
Yeah.
just that's why I love the shows, and it brings me back to 1998 to 2005.
Mm.
When it wasn't so gun ho about like, oh, this card's $1,000. I want to
Yeah.
get this card graded. You
Yeah.
know, oh, I want to, I want to make the most money off of this card. It wasn't about that. I know, but it was. It wasn't about that then in '98. It was more of just liking the player, selling the player, and getting more of that player or
Yeah.
player. That's how it was really like back. And it's not even that far away. It's 25 years. I can't believe it. You know, and I never forget. Like you know, as soon as I walked into that show, it was just, and I still remember it, and I'm remembering it more and more now because that's the show that I run in Hicksville. So
Yeah.
I remember times that we were in the small room, because I have in Hicksville there's 2 rooms. I have 30 tables in one and 20 tables in the other.
Yeah.
And we moved from this room to that room, and I remember my first spot. I'm like, and I tell these deal like they care, but I tell these dealers like, you know what? This is the spot that I first set up at. My first show was in this spot. You're lucky you're sitting in this spot, man. This is going to be a lucky spot. And they're like, all right, John, whatever. They may think I'm a nut, but,
Yeah.
most people
But they
do.
know
But
how you feel.
they know how I feel.
Yeah.
And and then a couple of them come up to me and they're like, John, that's a great spot. And I'm like, yeah, man, I put you there. Don't worry about it. So it was it was just awesome back then. It's awesome now. I'm glad that I had 2 storage units full of stuff during the pandemic.
Yeah.
Got to be grateful for that, right?
Yeah.
So, thank God for that. And I sold cards and I'm just happy, and stuff that back in the day that I wish I had now, but you can't think like that.
Yeah.
And one more story that you should know, if I didn't tell you this, um was the let me can I tell you the best box that I opened up? Because I used to break
Absolutely. Yeah.
a lot of wax. Tons of wax I used to break. I used to come home with cases and cases of stuff, which I don't recommend doing, guys. That's just my opinion. But back in 2005 to 2014, 15, I broke tons of wax. I bought deals, bought collections, broke wax, bought comics. So you know how that goes. It's a lot of money, and a lot of
Yeah.
money spent and a lot of money lost, to be honest with you. So it was awesome. But I'll tell you this one thing that I opened up, which I probably would be a millionaire right now if I kept it. Um, 2006, 2007, or it was either 2007, 2008, or 2006, 2007. I'm getting mixed up with the year. Upper Deck Exquisite Basketball came out with the box. It was $500 for a box of Upper Deck Exquisite Basketball, and that was a lot of money back then, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, in '06 or whatever. So I had the funds. My kids were young. I had the funds to do it. You know, I'm like, all right, let me treat myself to a box, right? So I went to Seymour's house. He owns he owns a store in Westbury, and he was the biggest wax. Well, he is the biggest wax dealer in Long Island, and I actually used to work for him every once in a while at shows. He used to give me at the big shows. He used to give me a little piece of his table, and I used to sell all his boxes. So I knew what was in all the boxes. So I went over to his house, and he had a case of Upper Deck Exquisite basketball, and he knows that I love basketball, and he's like, I'll sell you a box. And I'm like, all right. I was like, I only have, enough for one box. Like, oh, why don't you buy the whole case? And I'll give it to you for 1,400. I didn't have the money. And I was like, nah, see, he's like, oh, you can owe it to me. I'm like, nah. No, I was like, I owe Izzy money up at Tri-County. No, I can't do this. I'll just buy one box. So I bought the box. He opened up the case, and he's like, all right, pick one. I took the one in the middle. And he's like, oh, you're going to open it up here? And I'm like, nah. I was like, I'm just going to open it up at home. He's like, Seymour, you don't care what I get in these boxes. You're a wax dealer. You're not a singles guy. He's like, all right, cool. He's like, just call me if you get anything good. And I'm like, all right, cool. So I was home watching the Jet game with my son. My son was probably like 3 or 4 years old. He was sitting next to me. I opened up the box. Upper Deck Exquisite comes in that like cherry wood box. Yep. With the black, it was black. It wasn't cherry wood, but it was like a black box, and it said Upper Deck Exquisite, beautiful, right? So you open up the seal on the box, you pull the box out. I'm pulling the box out, and I see an autograph on top of the box, the Upper Deck Exquisite box, and I see it, and I'm pulling it out, and it was in gold is silver Sharpie. I think it was gold, and then I see it, and I'm like, that looks like LeBron James's autograph. So I'm pulling it, and I see 23/23. Pulling the box. The other side was Michael Jordan.
Oh.
Michael Jordan, LeBron James, 23 of 23 with the COA sticker on top of the Upper Deck.
Yep.
There's a box. So I didn't even get to the pack yet, right? And I didn't even really do a lot of research because I wasn't a big eBay computer guy, then, and I didn't do a lot of research. So I called up my buddy Ralph, who has a ton of knowledge. Hot Rookies on Instagram, hot_rookies. He's got a ton of knowledge. So I called him up. I'm like, bro, I was like, I just opened up the box of the Upper Deck Exquisite I bought off of Seymour, and I was like, 2 autographs, Michael Jordan, LeBron James, 23 of 23. And he's like, John, he's like, you might have got the LeBron James, Michael Jordan box. And I'm like, oh, cool. All right. I'll give you a call after I open it up. And he's like, yeah, he's like, open up that pack. He's like, I guarantee you everything is going to be LeBron James, Michael Jordan. And I'm like, all right, cool. So I'm getting excited, right? I open up the pack. First card, Michael Jordan base, 23 of 23.
Oh.
Second card, Michael Jordan dual patch, LeBron, 23 of 23.
Everything was 23 of 23, right?
It was 23 of 23, but then it got better because then it was a dual autograph and 2 dual autograph patches. Sick box. It made it to 3 shows. And to believe it or not, people weren't going crazy over this. People were like, awesome call, at the show, you're showing it off, right?
Yeah.
The Jordan games, you have it in your showcase, and I have it amongst of all my Hall of Famers. In 2007, I had an awesome collection, right? So I had it all, whatever, and I had it up on top of my showcase, closest to me, right? I had it all nice because I love presentation of cards, right? I had the box, I had the cards all fanned out and stuff like that. And a couple of people, it went to the Huntington Hilton show out in Long Island. It went to the Bordentown show in New Jersey. And then it went to the small Hofstra show when he had the small Hofstra show. And nobody gave me, there was no, people came by, oh man, that's a cool autograph. Oh, cool duel. Yeah. Oh man, LeBron James, cool, Nothing like it would be today, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
What are what are
It would
these
be a
like?
golden today on auction.
It would be in golden on auction, probably for over $1 million,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So again, now, I'm younger and I like to flip. So I was like, I need to get back my $500, right? And I'm like, let me see if I can move this. It made it to 3 shows, and now I have it for 4 months. You know what? I want to sell it. I want to try to, maybe take what I make from that and buy more stuff, right? So I ended up giving it to a buddy of mine that had a store in Franklin Square, out in Long Island, and he put it up on eBay. And he put it up on eBay. I think we put it up for $20,000 on eBay. We got numbers, are fading because it's been. I told this story plenty of times, but numbers are fading. But I think I sold it for $17,000. I took
Wow.
I took it for 17 grand. I ended up giving. I was very generous, which I am. For you guys don't know, I do give a lot of cards away to kids and all that. So I was generous. I gave Rob. Van was the owner of the store. Rob was the one that put it on. And they had it in their possession. So I gave Rob $1,000 for doing that for me. And I also gave Van $300 for just having it in the possession in the store.
Yeah.
Kind of took care of it. Like right now it's hard to trust people, right?
Yeah.
So I trusted them. They sold it. Went well. No returns, no nothing, right? I ended up grossing maybe 14,000 after I gave, the fees, and I
Yeah.
gave, Van and Rob his stuff. Van and Rob I also met at that 1998 card show in Hicksville. So,
Yeah.
it's just like a trickle down effect. So all
Sure.
these friends, and now we're 7 years later, right? Or 8 years later, and we're still friends. So it's awesome. You know what I mean? So, make connections at shows. So that's my thing too. The whole point of the story. So whatever. So I got like 14,000, and I'm like, oh man, easy transaction, the easiest transaction of money that I've made, and that's the most money I've ever made, at with cards, right? At that point, and cool. So I see they sold it to a guy in Wisconsin. He bought obviously the whole thing, and then like years have gone by. Again, like I said, I'm not like a look up eBay, person and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
but you want to go check in on that little see where it happened to it, see where it's at.
I didn't check, but I was cooking. I was in at my job. I was behind the line. I was cooking. I was sweating. I was all this, and I'm flipping, and I'm doing whatever I have to do at my job. And Ralph texts me, and this is in 2016. Ralph, the knowledgeable one, right? My buddy. So he texts me, and he goes, "Guess whose card this is?" And I'm like, what does he want? I'm busy, man. I'm on my feet 12 hours a day, and I'm cooking, whatever. And then I look at it, and I'm looking, and I'm like, oh, it's Michael, Michael Jordan, LeBron James. And I'm like, okay, I'll call Ralph after I'm done. So I called him up. It was midnight or whatever after I closed up or whatever. And I called him up. He's like, John, he's like, did you look at my picture? I'm like, yeah, yeah. He's like, that was your card. It's a 9-5-10 auto out of Beckett. And I'm like, really? And I'm like, I'm looking at it. And I'm like, he's like, did you see what it sold for? And I'm like, no. He's like, the guy that you sold it to must have like maybe just sold it separately because it was just one of those cards.
Yeah.
And it was a 9-5-10, and it sold for $68,000. And
Just one of them.
just one of them.
Yeah.
And obviously it's a 9-5-10. I got a little bit of a premium, but premiums weren't like huge back then, from my knowledge, whatever. But it was still a bit. It's still whatever. So $68,000, right? And I was like, ugh, damn. And that's actually the the closing of the story. And I didn't see any other cards here and there, but it was just an awesome, awesome pull. I think I do have pitches somewhere, but it's been a long time.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to dig them out, somewhere, because maybe some people don't believe me, but but it was I did make 14,000, well, 13,500,
Yep.
and that one card did sell for 68, and I'm sure if I kept that together and I put it in a safe and I brought it to the National this year at Golden or whatever, that probably would have been over $1 million,
Yeah.
right?
Yep. I bet. Even if you had that whole set, could you imagine that whole set? What that
Yeah,
have gone for?
yeah.
Yeah.
The box and all,
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's a lot of ups and downs, right?
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to.
If you spend enough time in the hobby, and I've spent such a short time, I've had great lucky things happen to me in this hobby. But I can imagine if you spent 20, 25 years in this hobby, you have a handful of stories of these great things that have happened to you, these great wax pulls or a great purchase or a flip or something like that. I just
Oh, yeah.
good things have to happen to you. Yeah.
Good things and bad, right?
Yeah.
Both breaking, so like that's, you know, yeah, I've been around a long time. I do have tons of stories, nothing as more than that, but
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
just
I don't know too many stories that could top that.
no. But then people say, like, John, you sold it for what it went for back then.
Yeah.
You- I got my money. It's not like I
Yeah.
lost
Yeah.
money.
You did well. Yeah,
And I
considerably. Like if you think about in 2006 what $17,000 was worth compared to today, I mean, you that may have been 25 or 30,000, right? I mean, so you actually did pretty well
yeah, I
considering.
did good. Yeah. Do you wish you had that? Yeah, but not
Yeah.
only that, but I wish I had other cards.
Yeah.
I wish I had the 54 Bowman mantle that I broke out of Leaf Best of Baseball in 2012. And it was a PSA 9. Like, I wish I still had that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
Yep.
no, you're gonna get some good deals. You're gonna break some good boxes, and you're gonna break a lot of bad boxes.
Yeah.
You break
Yeah.
some good and bad, man.
Yeah.
That's how it goes. And I probably broke more bad than good.
Yeah. Same here.
It's and this was cases and cases, of triple threads and
Yeah.
Bowman Chrome and
Yeah.
stuff like that, and football, like, just stuff
Yeah.
that I didn't really need to open, but I did
Yeah.
because it
I
was
I've made a commitment. Like I started really, I love to rip wax, but I've made a commitment not to rip retail boxes. Like if I'm gonna open a box, I'm gonna invest in a hobby box or something that I've got some kind of guarantee, whether it's good or bad that comes out. If I'm gonna make the investment, I'm gonna invest in something that's guaranteeing me something to come out of that.
yeah, I never really broke. I mean, I did, like, when you go to Target and you're there shopping and you take and you see a box of Blaster and I open one up, but like I never really broke retail. That's
Yeah.
just, no way. And I hate all that retail stuff, especially the football retail stuff. Like, that's just overloaded.
Yeah. Yeah.
That
Over printed.
leave what Justin Herbert rookie selects are, like the concourse ones. They're like $3.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I can't believe how much, like, they just. Well, I know I can believe it. I know stuff goes down, but like, it's just I never really break retail. It was only hobby, and I only broke when the prices were
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
When I could walk out of Tri-County, up at Tri-County in Levittown, Long Island. Izzy is one of the other best wax dealer. I go up there. I used to go up there once a week, and I used to walk out of there with, like, U-boats full of stuff, and I'd be like,
Yeah.
all right, cool, and it used to be only $800, but
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
open up like 25 boxes, and
Mhm.
I'm not joking.
Yeah.
You know,
That's a fun day. Yeah.
that's a great day, and
Yeah.
I have to be grateful for this hobby, and I have to be, really, yeah, really grateful for this hobby, that I could
Mm.
still afford to be in it and enjoy it, make new connections now with Instagram and,
Yep.
running shows and stuff like that.
Mhm.
It's just an awesome hobby, and I think I'm gonna try to be in it for another 25 years, right? I mean,
Nice.
hope.
Yep. Hopefully I'll be right there with you, John.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, of
Yeah.
course. I mean, I hope, Jimmy, the one that runs Hofstra, and the one that runs, the East Coast National. He's taking over the big national.
Oh, he is.
Yeah,
Oh,
he's part of the new management team. So
nice.
him, his partner Brian, and the guy that runs the Philly show. So it's them three. So that's
Wow.
that's a really good, good for me. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
really,
Good for me now too.
yeah, I have a really good connection with Jimmy, and and it's just connections, making
Yeah.
connections.
Yep.
Like I say, in my YouTube, it's not all about the money. It's about
Yeah.
the right.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
the love of the games.
Yep.
That's it.
All right, John. Look, we're well over an hour. We're gonna shut it down. But thanks for coming on. Really enjoyed the conversation. Looking forward to setting up with you at East Coast National, and maybe we'll get you back on right before Hofstra. We'll chat
Yeah,
again.
Hofstra is I think the 16th and 17th of October. So
Yeah.
yeah, no, definitely, man. And I'll see you in a week, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna be all fired up. I got somebody coming, bringing me comics too, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
That's good now. I got you too, right?
What's that?
You might be bringing comics, right? You're gonna bring
Y-
comics.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring comics for you. Check
Yeah.
out. Yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah. Uh, John, just tell everybody where they can get in touch with you, where they can find you.
You could find me on Instagram at behind_the_diamond. You can even look me up because I run two shows in Long Island, the Hicksville Sports Card Show and the Babylon Sports Card Show, and that's about it.
What
And
what what about the YouTube channel?
my YouTube channel is Behind the Diamond Cards. Uh, and I think I put out some pretty good content, knowledgeable content, and and that's it.
Great, great. Thanks for being on, John.
All right, thanks, Ken. Peace
I
out,
want
guys.
to thank everyone for tuning in. And if you like what you hear, please like, subscribe, and most importantly, tell a friend and spread the word. And until next time, be good to yourselves and everyone around you.